Welcome to episode 2 of Challenge Run. This is our first SmackDown episode, and 205 Live will also be on this show as well. Because SmackDown turned out to be an awful lot easier to book than Raw was, being 2 hours compared to 3. So honestly, I feel like if I need to get an undercarder over in one of these challenges, I might put them on Raw because there's more chances for them. Because there was a couple of guys who I know I have challenges to push where I'm like, I can't find space for them on this show, with it only being 2 hours. But I want to appreciate you guys' support on the first episode. This is episode 2. Let's keep going. Welcome to and we kick off with the new SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair coming down to the ring. And before she even gets a word out, Becky Lynch's music hits. She comes down, and she's got a mic. And she goes, Charlotte, I don't even want to hear what you have to say. I've always been left. You're going to say, oh, you're so sad that your friend betrayed you at Summer Slam. Shut up. You were my friend. I was never your friend, was I? This was not a two-way street, this friendship. This was me doing stuff for you, and you leaving me in the dirt every opportunity you got. This was you being brought into NXT as the daughter of Ric Flair, the Queen, and me having to do a stupid Irish jig just because of my accent to get anywhere near the opportunities you got. So when I get an opportunity at SummerSlam to challenge for the Women's Championship, a big opportunity. This was my moment, Charlotte. And you came in and you took it. You used my moment as a way to elevate yourself. No, I didn't turn my back on you at SummerSlam. I realised what I should have realised a long time ago. You have done nothing but use me for years. Mania 32. You talked about how, it would be great to be in the match with you at WrestleMania for the new women's title. And then you steal the victory from me. I get the SmackDown Women's title last year. And what do you say on TV? The Raw Women's title is the real prize in this industry. You have done everything you can to put me down. And I considered you a friend. But I was never your friend, was I? I was just somebody you could use. So don't even bother getting a word out. Because at Unforgiven, that title will be mine, and I will not take no for an answer. Charlotte goes to speak, but Becky just whacks her on the head with a microphone and they start a brawl. Gets pulled apart. And we have our second confirmed match for Unforgiven, which is quite interesting actually. Both of our first 2 confirmed matches have been the women's title matches. We then get a debut as Io Shirai and Kairi Sane are on the main roster. And they beat Fire and Desire, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville in 12.5 minutes when Io Shirai taps out Mandy Rose. Io, far and away the best person in this match. Mandy, the weakest. And we have also learned that our SmackDown commentary team that I put together, which, by the way, was Phillips, Lawler, and McGuinness, doesn't work because Tom Phillips and McGuinness don't work well together. I have a plan to sort that. But I don't know if Tom will like it because I'd rather have Nigel than him. Samoa Joe comes out to the ring. And he goes, at SummerSlam, everything went according to plan. Except for AJ sacrificing the match to get after me. That's not how this works, AJ. That's not how any of this works. You knew you couldn't beat me. I was in your head, AJ. So you take the easy road? Not a chance. I've already gone and spoken to Shane McMahon and Paige. And guess what? This isn't going to go well for you. This is a rematch at Unforgiven. Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. No disqualifications. No countouts. It's just me and you in that ring. And finally, you'll know what we've always known, AJ. You have never been better than me. I've always been better than you. And at Unforgiven, I'm going to prove it. Tosses the mic down and just walks out the ring. Not even waiting for his own music to be played. Andrade and Zelina Vega are backstage. And Andrade can't do any big funny catchphrases at this point because his English isn't good enough yet. Oh dear. So Zelina, would assume, does most of the talking, and Andrade is a bit broken English here and there. But Zelina's talking about how Andrade is the future of this company. Look at this man. This is perfection in its wrestling form. Andrade is a future United States champion, so Nakamura, watch out. Andrade is a future WWE champion, so AJ Styles, watch out. Hell, Andrade could find a random bum on the street and become tag team champions. So Bludgeon Brothers, watch out. What I am saying is that Andrade will be a champion sooner rather than later and dominate this industry for years to come. It gets to 50, harp-strung by the language barrier, sadly. We then get a wild brawl match as Big E takes on Harper. A continuation from the SummerSlam match. Harper picks up the win with a discus clothesline in 11 minutes, and these two just go hell and leather at each other. It's 59, I'm not upset about that. The commentary, I can't change the commentary mid-show without, if I had an angle planned, I would. But I want to keep this realistic, even with Hulk Hogan visions. But I can't really moan about these guys, about the commentary tonight. I tried something and it didn't work. Shinsuke Nakamura is backstage. And he gets walked up to by Randy Orton, who we haven't seen Randy in a while. He wasn't at SummerSlam. And he just goes, nice belt you got there. I used to have that. Maybe I'll have it again someday. And he just walks off, and Nakamura's just a bit taken aback by this. Because, Orton coming in and being like, I like your belt. That wouldn't unnerve anybody. Gets 73. These two apparently work really well together. We then get a video package hyping up next week's SmackDown, which will feature the debuts of Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, and Toni Storm. It gets a 66, which, considering how low pop these three are, is impressive. AJ Styles is backstage. He's being interviewed by Renee Young. And Renee's like, AJ, what happened at SummerSlam? AJ goes, Renee, I lost my cool at SummerSlam. Do I regret it? Not a chance. You insult my family. You bring my family into this, Joe. We have known each other for years. You know how protective I am over my family. Can you bring them in? That says a lot more about you than it does about me. You know you can't beat me anymore. Yeah, you used to be able to beat me, but you know you can't anymore. So you've got to try and play your games. Well, this isn't going to work. You're just going to make me angrier. And I'm forgiven, sure. I accept your challenge to a no disqualification, no count out match. We will settle this once and for all. I promise you, you ain't gonna like the AJ that comes out. A triple threat match in a number one contenders match for the United States Championship. Jeff Hardy, The Miz, and Shelton Benjamin. And it's Shelton Benjamin who pins The Miz with the pay dirt after Daniel Bryan attacks The Miz. Shelton comes out and celebrates and is jumped by Nakamura. Nakamura getting all cocky. We know it's Shelton versus Nakamura, probably on a TV show. I don't think this makes the Unforgiven card. But Nakamura's going to go for him. He's got Orton in the back of his head. And Shelton's the victim, I'm afraid. 77 rating. Great stuff. The Bar. Sheamus and Cesaro take on the Good Brothers, the OC, whatever you want to call them. And the Bar pick up the victory in just under 12 minutes. Cesaro pins Carl Anderson in our storytelling match of the night. Cesaro was the best person in the match, but all four were close, actually, so I'm happy with that. And both have tag chemistry boosts, as they should, and tag specialist bonuses, as they should. Obviously, the Bar want the SmackDown tag team titles, so do the OC. This SmackDown tag scene is pretty good at the moment, especially when you compare it to the Raw one. But over here, you got the Bar, the OC, the Bludgeon Brothers, and that's an ambulance. The New Day, the Usos. That is a strong tag scene, honestly. Daniel Bryan's walking backstage and he bumps into Renee Young. It's like, Daniel, that's not like you. Why did you go and attack The Miz? And it's like, and he says, The Miz has been trying to make my life hell for 8 years now. He gets his wife to cheat for him at SummerSlam. And he wants to go around parading that he's finally toppled the dragon. No, that's not how this works. And next week, well, my wife's been on the other show recently. I'm sure I can give her a call. If he wants to play this game with his getting wives involved, he can be my guest next week. The Miz and Maurice versus Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella. Gets a 71 rating and sets up our first TV match pre-announced. Not too bad. And our main event sees the Usos and the New Day go 1-on-1, well 2-on-2, for the number one contendership for the tag titles. And the Usos pick up the win, Jey Uso pinning Xavier Woods with a double super kick. Jey gets a 62, Kofi a 60, but all four, again, very close. And very close to those four from earlier, actually. But these are all 60s, they're all 50s. That's all very good ground for our tag scene. And it show ends with a big beatdown. Harper and Rowan take out everyone in that match. The Usos, the New Day, everyone taken out. Big E was out earlier and taken out. Harper and Rowan are dominant in this tag scene. Gets a 67. We're still at that level where we We're gonna dip for a while. I know this. You guys know this. These early episodes are the hardest. Eventually, we'll stabilize, and we'll get back climbing, and then the sky's the limit. So let's jump. Speaking of the sky being the limit, let's jump to 205 Live. Okay, so this is part 2 of episode 2, which is 205 Live, which is an important part of the save because one of our challenges is to revitalize the Cruiserweight division. And we can't do that without 205 Live, although it's going to be a long process, and eventually it will return to an A show. But we are nowhere near that at the moment, let's be honest. 205 Live, nobody can cut a promo, so it's all matches, so we should get through this quite quickly. Let's get into it. And our 205 Live broadcast kicks off with Hideo Itami defeating Mike Kanellis. Of course, in yesterday's, well, not yesterday's, but in the episode 1, we learned that Hideo Itami is the person who we need to get from unimportant to as high as we physically can. They say major star, but I don't know if that's possible. And this is the start. He will probably be moved off 205 Live quickly. But we're still here with him here for now, until there's a storyline workable reason to move him off. I don't just want to do things for the sake of it. But he picks up the win over Mike Kanellis with a go to sleep. And he's in extremely poor form, so that's our first hurdle to deal with. Tony Nese and Buddy Murphy pick up the victory against the Lucha House Party of Kalisto and Lince Dorado. Murphy pinning Dorado with Murphy's Law. And this proves my plan for SmackDown is going to work. Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness have good chemistry together. We will be doing an angle next week in which McGuinness, and let's be honest, Tom Phillips is going to be taken out. McGuinness takes over the lead for that week. And then the week after, Vic Joseph takes over. Oh, this probably should have been the main event. Ricochet defeating Akira Tozawa with the diving double knee drop. They have pretty good chemistry. They get 70 on a B show, so I'm not going to moan. And the actual main event was not as good. And it was Tyler Bate and Cedric Alexander losing to Lio Rush and TJP. Lio Rush picking up the win. And him and TJP have no chemistry as partners, so we know that one for the future. So we get 60 for 205 Live. I wish I'd put the Ricochet Tozawa match in the main event now. But financially, oh yeah, I paid everyone off to make them happy. I'll be honest, I don't care about finances, we'll sort them out anyway. Pop-wise, it's not good. India, all of US and the important regions of Canada are down and nowhere else is really up well. But that is episode 2. Let me know what you thought, and I'll speak to you guys in episode 3, where we're back on Monday Night Raw. Goodbye!